Yes, we killed Aquila!
7K dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We'll be looking at Orca in Arena finally. So this is the team I'm currently using. I'm going to show you guys my Orca's equipment. I'm actually running lethal build on him and he is my defensive leader. I'm using debuff resistance rate up, increase awakening gauge as well as lethal rate, and also I didn't give him any resistance traits. This is only temporary. We'll see how the meta changes and we will adjust accordingly. But debuff cast rate is gonna be very beneficial for him since he casts bleed and burn. And we're gonna talk about his skills in the actual run itself. So in this first match, because a lot of players are still not using Orca yet, so this video is not going to be representative of the entire meta that is coming up. But we can see that with lethal, Orca definitely uses his skill first very early. And that's very good because he casts the bleed and the burn on the entire enemy team already. We're not sure if the traits are going to shift to provide resistance for these, bleed and burn. But you know, that's something we'll look out for, and his awaken skill comes out really quickly as well because of the jewel and his exclusive item. So as you can see, Alim is dead and he cannot revive, and that is the power of Orca's passive, whereby if you have 3 offensive heroes on the team, he will nullify all sort of revival. And this will also apply to Levi now.
Denied.
I'm particularly happy that he is here to replace Levi and Alim because I felt that when I was using them, they died very easily to Truth's chain attack, and that is very problematic because it actually gave Truth a lot of opportunity to, you know, use her skills and do a lot of damage to my team. So with those two gone and subbing in Orca who has much more greater bulk, I think it is a very good thing. As you can see, Miho here is gonna be the weakest link I feel now. Yonhee's survival is also pretty frail at this point. I think Truth is just doing a lot of damage, but we saw Orca doing his work and I know he's dead now. So it's actually fine because he has done what he needs to do. And we will go on to look at match 2. For match 2, we are still facing the Alim and Levi team. Again, lethal Orca goes first really early. As you can see, this one hits 2 targets and it actually deals damage to the 2 which has the highest attack. So as you saw, he actually aimed the 2 at the back of the enemy team, which means this time formation plays a very important role. And if your Miho in your team actually shuffles the formation, then the targets will change because formation buff for attack power is gonna be very influential to who Orca actually targets. And of course, if the enemies place more heroes at the back, then I think his natural targets will be Dylan's and Truth or Yonhee, okay? Because Yonhee tends to be the attack leader who gets an attack buff. So about his awaken skill as well as his bottom skill, they actually do turn reduction. His awaken skill does 4 turn reduction, while his bottom skill actually does 3 turns. So if you actually give him a Galida's Might accessory, if you do have, then he could actually do up to 9 turns reduction in total, especially for the heroes with a lot of attack power, and that tends to be Dylan's and Yonhee and Truth. Not so effective for Truth because she has skill nullification. However, if you use it on Yonhee and Dylan's, I think it will be very good because you can actually remove Yonhee's evasion very quickly, and you can also remove Dylan's damage absorption. Another thing I wanted to question was that, you know, his bottom skill actually reduces lethal rate by 80% for 2 turns on the enemy. So I'm not too sure how that will come into play towards the later part of the match when you have very few enemies, and how will reducing lethal rate actually, you know, help your team. The only thing I can think of is that it reduces the chance of lethal attack, and it's very important in future because once we have heroes or pets that actually boost effect attack chance, lethal attacks will come in the form of effect attacks, and that is going to be very detrimental to your team. So I think Orca's role will come in much bigger in a later part of the meta. I want to look at Orca's damage transfer in this match. It is actually the blue bar, which is similar to what Platine Teo has. So it's actually a shield, and that actually brings up the question whereby can Tara and Jave actually come back into the meta, because they are the two heroes that actually remove shields. And if Tara comes back, can she actually live up to the physical meta, right? Unless she gets her Myth Awakening very soon, okay? Otherwise, I'm not too sure how she can withstand all the firepower from the offensive enemies right now. And as you can see, my Truth is actually dying while my Orca is still pretty much in full health, and that's due to the damage transfer. So I feel that Orca actually has greater bulk than Truth in that case. And there has been a few cases. I fought 10 matches straight, okay? And I found that Orca actually outlived my Truth in quite a number of matches. And especially in cases whereby you face Truth alone. The only way Truth can reduce Orca's health is through her second skill, I believe. And it is quite inefficient for Truth, because Orca can easily take her down if she doesn't have a skill nullification. So as you can see here, my Dylan's actually did his Awaken skill here, but not very important. But the thing I want to say is that actually when you have Orca and Dylan's, it's kind of similar to when you had Levi and Dylan's. Their isolation skills will stagger, which is very good, because using their isolation skill earlier, you're gonna get another isolation later from Dylan's, and that's gonna be very helpful to your team. So we are finally facing the Aquila team, and I really didn't like the idea of Aquila coming back, honestly. I was never a fan of heroes who actually made their comeback suddenly to the arena meta, sadly. As you can see, Orca already landed the burn and the bleed on Aquila, and that is gonna be super critical, okay? If Aquila doesn't remove the debuff, she is as good as dead, honestly. So which is why I said I think the meta may shift. I'm not even sure how Yonhee does a 1 damage on Aquila. So as you can see, the burn hit through Aquila and to the whole enemy team, and then the bleed procced when Orca did his effect attack on Aquila. And Orca's effect attack is actually very strong. It does 200% once, and then 200% to the entire enemy team, and then also reduces 1 turn buff duration. So it's kind of like a combination of Truth and Dylan's effect attack together.
Annoying.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is the existence of Truth and Yonhee in the arena meta kind of makes Orca's bleed and burn effects less impactful, because they do have debuff resistance and Truth does have skill nullification, which means she won't be taking the burn and bleed that easily, and she also has debuff resistance on top of that. So you're gonna face a lot of heroes with debuff resistance, like even Dylan's and Orca's will have debuff resistance. I'm not sure how the bleed and burn will actually be very useful in time to come. It really seems to be targeting heroes like Aquila, heroes that, you know, aren't really invested in debuff resistances.
This isn't tasty at all. You're quite fearless. You dared to attack. This isn't tasty at all.
And in this final match, I just want to talk about the possible meta changes. Like I said, Tara, Jave, and if Jave comes back, do you think the tank team will come back? Because tank team, along with Orca and Karma, can be very deadly in terms of applying CC, especially with counter Rudy. And with all the bleed debuffs going on, I think it can be very scary. But the thing is, can the tank team actually live? And that's the only concern. So I think in future, when we have Mythical Awaken Evan or Mythical Awaken Wukong, I think the tank team can have a very good chance, or rather a hybrid kind of team could be set up. And I wanted to just also explore the possibility of a counter Orca. As you can see, his exclusive item does have a counter rate option. Counter rate increase, I mean. And this probably suggests that they may try to phase out Yonhi in time to come because they want to utilize on Orca's counter attacks and the bleed to let teams do a lot of damage.
I will break the boundary of the abyss and become. I will break the boundary of the abyss and become.
This isn't tasty at all.
And in future, when there are a lot of Orca teams in the meta, would you think that the Galeader's Might accessory will come into much greater use because you have to reduce Orca's damage transfer as soon as you can in order to kill him? Otherwise, he may live this long, as you can see right now. He's outliving everyone along with Dylan's. And sadly, as you can see, this is a dead match for me.
This isn't tasty at all. Such a strange place.
Yep, so that is gonna be a loss. I'm gonna go through the equipment on my other team members. For Dylan's, I'm running a speed build, double speed, double block, evasion and silence resist. His traits are pretty typical, just a lot of damage reduction so that he can live a little longer. Ultimately, you want him to use his transformation and slay the whole enemy team, right? And for Miho, I'm running speed as well, and focus is on increasing her awakening gauge charge speed as well as her resistances. For Truth, I'm running speed, also focusing on resistances as well as a lot more damage output. And finally, Yonhi is my attack leader, speed HP counter. The chance to attack twice on basic attack is pretty useful, I would say. And she also has Galeader's Grudge at level 4. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you learned something about how to use Orca, and maybe you could let me know what you think of him and what team you will run with him, or whether or not you feel that the meta could become more varied with his inclusion right now. Do like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon.